So let me give you a little bit of a tour. So right now this is my studio space because my garage is getting built for my studio. For the last 10 years I've been living in my studio actually. So I find a studio first and then I'll find a way to to live in there. And my last one was in downtown. I've been in there for like 7 years. And finally I was able to acquire my own space. So this is my own home now. And yeah, so right now I'm working in this space till I get my studio built up for an actual studio, because I really need one, because I work big pieces. Here's one it's currently just finished. This is like one of my newest ones, me and Marjon's of course. So she does a lot of realism, and I put patterns on top of them. And actually that's my first painting that I ever did. In 2006. So I had that image in my head that was stuck, and I needed a way to get it out of my head. And I didn't know how to paint, so I just went to a local art store and just picked up paint and brushes, which I didn't even know what to get, And that's the image that was I had in my head that I needed to get out. So since then, I never stopped painting. So most of my paintings come from my dreams, like images, even like finished products that I'm working on is already finished in my head. And for an artist like me, the way to produce is like figuring out the steps of how to get that image, out into like a physical form, like a painting.
Yeah.
So that's how some of my process works. And also problem solving, if I'm having issues like with the steps or techniques, I'll usually just like sleep on it, and the solutions usually come in my dreams. So I'll wake up like, oh yeah, that's how I do it. That's how I need to fix it. So everything comes from my dreams, like how I started painting. And I think I talked to a lot of artists, and it's pretty similar stories. Like things come from their head and their dreams, and the way for us to produce is like trying to get it out, as fast as like the best as we can. Get that image in my head, our head, and put it in a physical form like this. So yeah, a lot of artists work that way. It's kind of crazy.
Do you work in multiple drafts or in one go?
For me, I'm very OCD, so I work on one piece at a time from start to finish, unless I have deadlines. But if I don't, then I'll focus on one thing at a time, because I guess I can't multitask. So I focus on one thing at a time.
You mentioned that you work with a lot of other artists as a gallery owner and collector yourself.
Yeah, so the way I started 10 years ago, I opened a gallery in downtown, and that's how I met a lot of my friends now still, like artists in the arts community. That's how I got connected. I ran that for 3 years, and then after that I just went virtually, because I was throwing shows. I didn't really need a space anymore, and I would rent different spaces. So now it's pop-up stuff that I do now with different events. And it's been working out. Everything's virtual anyway, and plus I don't have too much overhead. And actually gallery is not really a good business, because it doesn't really make good money. But it's the thing I like about it was networking and meeting people and getting to know like the artists in the community. Hey, shh. So, being an artist, I'm also an art collector. And all these things that you see are things that I've collected from friends. Hey, chill. And we trade art, because like artists can't afford to buy art. Like some of these things are like thousands of dollars. Like there's no way artists can afford these, So we either barter or trade, or layaway, or I go to like fire sales. Sometimes like artists have you know, like they do like once a year sale to like just get rid of inventory in their studios, and those are kind of the best ways to get acquire art. So yeah, these are some of my art collection. Like I said, I mentioned Marjon is my partner.
Yeah.
Let me show you some of her work. So this is her pieces right here. It's the Back to the Future. And then this is my take on the Back to the Future, the hoverboard part.
Oh, cool. So you kind of curate it as a conversation between the two.
Exactly. And then here's another piece of hers, which is like one of my favorites. And you can just, see like the details and her inspiration on this thing is insane.
Very mythical.
Yeah, so she did a lot of paintings with mermaids, and she shot her friends, as models. So the person you see is like, her friend.
And what is the inspiration from?
So she's really into like fantasies and dreams, and she a lot of our paintings she comes up with the concepts, and then my part of the job with our collaboration is to figure out the technique and the fastest way to do it, So I'm the technique person, and she does like all the ideas. But we collaborate, we exchange ideas. But initially, she's the one that like comes up with a lot of the stuff that we're doing. I don't know where she gets it from, but I'm glad to be working with her because her ideas are amazing. And of course, as you can see, her technique and realism is very, very on point at the master level. And we teach this to our kids, Like we don't hold back on our teaching. It's up to the to the kids if they can grasp it and do the technique, But that's the best part. You don't hold back when you teach, because you never know what the kids are capable of, and majority of the time the capabilities of the kids are way higher than the expectation. So when we teach like a high school and college level, even to kindergartens, all the way to like junior high. We teach them what we know. We don't hold back, and then it's up to the kids if they can grasp it, and then we'll adjust from there. Yeah.
And between you and Marjon, you work in more like kind of geometric abstraction kind of realm, and she is more like realism.
Yeah.
How do you guys like kind of inspire each other?
So I come up with a lot of colors with the palettes. Okay, let me get some water.
Yeah.
So she'll come up with ideas, we'll sketch it, and then I'll come up with the color patterns and the palette. And what's unique is I'm colorblind, so I'm not saying I'm guessing, but I kind of know what colors go well together, even though I'm colorblind. So I'll come up with like different combinations, and it's funny because she'll be like, I don't know why you use this color for this, because she's like, taught in like a college level, art, and I'm just self-taught. It's like, I don't know, it's just gonna look good, I know it, because like I find balance with the color choices that I choose, and it usually comes out right, because I don't have to think about color theory, so that's what helps me choose my colors, is whatever I feel like, but I know it's gonna look good together because of the balance of the colors that I choose.
It's really interesting. And I remember you also mentioned something about orange, and then that yeah, like how do you like always come up with the shade of like that's so compatible with one another in terms of
color theory?
Yeah, like you said, you don't look at color theory so closely, but at the same time, like you also see some difference in different shades.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened to me, but like the last 2 years, the color orange has been my favorite and go-to. So I navigate towards anything orange. So every painting that I have, it's like go. I always put orange in everything that I do now. Every painting that I do, Here, I can show you some here.
Yeah.
I think I put some orange in here. I don't know, I can't tell. I think there's some oranges in here.
So the part that is the geometrics are by you, and the representation, the girl is by.
Yeah, by Marjon. And we had this series called what is that series that we're working on? But it's about all the colors of the rainbow. So this is the yellow piece that we did, and I'll show you another one that is the red piece. It's in this room. Man, what is that color that? What is that? I can't remember right now. But I'll show you another piece that we did. So this is my guest room. So this is the red piece.
Sorry, I didn't even ask if I should remove my shoes.
You're fine. I always wear my shoes for some reason. So this is the red piece.
Wow.
This is our friend Aubrey. So all the models we shoot ourselves, because now you have to be like original from the beginning. You can't like take things from the internet anymore because you'll get in trouble. So from the start, everything is original. Like from the photos, from the models, from so we use everything. We set everything up. We take photos of how we want the painting to be. So it's a lot of steps. It's not just like putting an image on the canvas. So everything has to be original from from now on, because it's copyright stuff. You can't take things from the internet anymore, or you'll get in trouble. And this way, everything is yours. Everything belongs to you. If something down the line, if anybody asks, everything is ours. This is our painting.
Have you had trouble before with?
Yeah, sometimes we'll just get images from like Google or Pinterest, and just to put something on canvas, and we'll get comments saying, "Oh, I've seen that photo before." Like like searching through the internet. It's like, "Oh, yeah, you're right. We got this from the internet." And since then, like, no, we got everything has to be from the start, like original. And more art stuff that I collect. These are the street artists that I collect. Even the dolls are street artists. As you can tell, like they have X's on their eyes. This is cause.
Yeah. Oh wow! These are original.
Yeah, these are original.
Wow.
This one too, but you can't really tell.
Yeah.
So he's a really famous street artist. And yeah, man, I just like art. It's what I live. I love to collect it. I love to be around it. I love to teach it.
Can you talk about how artists influence your own work?
Yeah. Sometimes I follow a lot of artists on Instagram. It's the best way to see what people are doing, and I get inspired about different ways or they're using materials and mediums, new ideas. And so those are kind of things that inspire me, people are trying out new things, right now the NFT is really big with the digital thing. So artists are figuring out ways to get their work out, in different places. So I'm really into new innovations and reaching more audiences. So I'm really inspired about people that are breaking new grounds and trying different things. And some of these artists, I don't even know how they do them. How do you do these kind of things? Because I break down technical stuff. That's what I look at with different works. Trying to figure out how they make things. That's what makes me excited about different artists. How did you make this? What was your thing? And the final product is usually, I like the behind the scenes. The work in process. The final product of course has always been there, but the magic for me is how they made the art, and that's what I really I'm inspired with, seeing different artists making new things with different mediums and evolving too. I like seeing artists evolve. I think that's part of the journey is just keep learning and trying new things. And usually the new stuff they're making is way incredible, their old stuff, because they're learning, they're progressing, and that's what I like to see about different artists, the progression and trying new things. I just kept everything that I really like. Okay, so this is going to be my Star Wars wall. I usually have more, but I'm not sure if you know, but I host one of the biggest Star Wars festivals in Houston for like 10 years now. But
That's why the Starbucks.
yeah, so that's like my biggest show of the year. I get like 5,000 people on the weekend for like 3 days. But since the pandemic happened, I stopped it because we had to be safe. I didn't do it last year. I'm not doing it this year. But Star Wars Festival is like one of my biggest like thing every year, and so some of this like I collected from the show. So this is my Star Wars wall. I still have themes, okay? I have themes with my art curation. And then I'm really into Mickey Mouse, so this is my Mickey Mouse wall. And then this is actually my first art collection that I ever collected. Right here.
Oh wow.
I don't know why I just fell in love with it and I had to have it. My friend Hartman, John Hartman is the artist, and it's I don't know if you can tell, but it's supposed to be a medal. Okay, so it's like for someone that's like very poor, or that couldn't afford something, but they give them an award. It's something like that, like in that meaning. It's written in the back, but it's in Spanish. I don't know Spanish, so it's supposed to represent a like a prize for someone, And I just navigated towards it, and then I just had to have it. And I was like, "Yo, I need this piece," and I kind of broke it, but I kind of like the broken pieces because it matches the artwork, and I couldn't afford it, so I traded them like 2 big paintings for this because I was like, "Hey man, what do you want for this?" Like, "Well, what do you have?" It's like, "Well, I have these 2 paintings that like I don't want or don't need, so we'll just trade." So I traded him 2 paintings for this. So that means he still owes me 1 painting.
Oh.
Yeah, but I ran out of room. Yeah, so let's see. This is my skull room. I'm really into skulls. If you can tell, like all the artwork here are all skulls. And then these little toys, candles. And I don't know what else to show you. Let's see. So this is gonna be my garage, my future studio, but it's just my garage.
It's like we're going into the tunnel.
Yeah, no, it's just a garage. So right now I'm working. Me and Marjon are working on a soccer ball for World Cup. So Houston is about to bid on trying to get the World Cup here in 2026. So they hired all these artists to paint these giant soccer balls, so you see.
Oh.
So I've been working on this. This is my feature studio. So build a wall, clean everything up, put AC in here. Here's some. I used a lot of spray paint, so that's why I'm here. So I can't be spray painting in the house. Yeah, so that's a sign I made for my gallery. And one of the paintings I did for a friend of mine, which I still have. But yeah, this is the World Cup soccer ball. I already started on it. A lot of it is just tape work, and then so I had to add patterns to these, and then I'll spray paint it. It's gonna look like kind of like a galaxy type with different patterns on the hexagons. So I use spray paint a lot. It's a really good medium for me. It makes things faster and cleaner, and I'll show you some of my process. I cut my own stencils, like when I do projects. So these are all hand cut, and I'll put them. This is the painting I just had here in St. Marjon's. So I cut all my stencils to do my patterns. Then I spray paint them, like more stuff. I have stencils everywhere. I kind of want to throw an art show with just stencils, like what people use, to make the work, not the actual pieces. Because like I said, I like seeing like people's processes. And I think that would be cool, just to see these on the walls, like, hey, how'd you make this? Oh, well, right here. These are my tools. Yeah, so I cut my own stencils, very OCD, with sharp knives. And then I'll put them on here, But this This is not for that. I'll put stencils and just like spray paint them. Because I like everything super clean.
Yeah.
No mistakes. So all these I painted by hand. All these circles. That took me like 2 weeks. So when I find imperfections and things, that's like the final step for me to like fix everything, because it really bothers me if there's a mistake on the painting. So when I look at museums, like art shows, I look for people's mistakes. I'm like, oh look, you could have fixed that. Like, why'd you leave that there? So I like it. Like I said, the process gives me joy to see like different things. This is the sign when I had my gallery. So this is all hand painted. Yeah, so this is gonna be my studio soon, hopefully, once lumber price goes down, because apparently everything is like double the price right now. I'm gonna put wall right here, and then just paint everything white, because I want everything clean. White, everything white. So it's gonna look like a museum in here.
Like a white cube.
Yep, a white space, even the floor.
Wow.
Yeah, even though I spray paint, I'll probably just put a tarp. You know, if I like spray paint, but I want everything like super clean.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to live in a museum.
Yeah.
That's a goal.
There's an interesting correlation between your plants and your art too.
Yeah, everything has to be curated. They all have to match.
Can you talk about your artist persona? Like you have a artist name, right?
Yeah, so my real name is Dandee. Okay, like that's on my like passport like ID. And when social media happened, I was when I started painting, I was really into pop art because that's that's the kind of thing I liked when I started looking at different artists. And when social media happened, as a joke, I put my name as Dandee Warhol because it rhymed with Andy Warhol as a pop artist. And from then on, it got stuck. So that's how people knew me. So now I'm Dandee Warhol, and I have a website. I have a business ID and everything with that. And yeah, so now I live as a pop artist. I don't even have a persona anymore. This is full-time me. Like when I talk, even when people ask me like, what's your race? Like I don't know. I don't have a race. I'm just an artist, you know. But I'm Filipino. Yeah, so Dandee Warhol is my persona, my artist name, and that's how people recognize me in my work. Because I'm a pop artist. I like to show current trends in my work, you know. And as an artist, I think part of their job is to document history through arts, and that's what I try to do with current trends in the world. I'm not a very political person, but sometimes it's needed, just to show more voice of what's going on in the world. But I try to stay away from politics. Usually, just like fashion and art for me.
I felt like a lot of times artists are addressed with their kind of just like Filipino American artist and the artist name. So do you think it's okay to like address artists by their race or ethnicity?
Well, personally, I don't think so, because I have so many friends that are artists and different backgrounds, and we all just see each other as artists, not a race. I think artist is a race to me. It's a group, but it is needed to like showcase like different backgrounds, just to highlight what different people are doing and their ideas. Because ideas come from how you're raised and where you grew up. So it's very important also to showcase that. But as a whole, for me, I don't see race at all. It's just like how you are, energy. And that's how I navigate like with friends and just energy. That's how I get along with people. And I can my energy like radar is pretty good. If the energy is bad, I like a person say like I can feel their energy, and if it's bad, then I just like stay away from them. but yeah, I think it is very important to highlight, you know, the backgrounds and ideas where people come from, for sure, because that affects your work and the way you are. But yeah, for sure. But personally, I don't stick to you know, one group, because I think everybody's like artist is just a race to me. Like, so I get along with a lot of artists because when I talk, I don't want to sound bad, but when I talk to normal people, like conversations are so different, you know. And when I talk to artists, like it's all about like ideas and what they're doing and what they're trying to do. It's not like, oh, like we're regular people, like, oh yeah, you know, what you did the weekend? You know, I just went out, got drunk and stuff like that. But when I have conversations with artists, it's like more meaningful to me. So that's how I felt.
How does your conversation with another artist usually go? Like, do you kind of have it over like a social, like over a beer, or is it like more happening in a studio and a kind of more?
Well, most social settings with artists are, you know, out, because everybody wants to be out social. You know, like last night, I finally went to an art show and caught up with my artist friends, and that's how you usually connect with artists, like the social settings, because nobody really goes like studio visits. I think studios are more intimate. Most artists are alone because, you know, they're working, you know, hours and hours a week in their space, you know. So most artists don't want to, you know, socialize in our studio because it's work, you know. But they all need to release some energy, so, you know, people like gather in social settings, and that's like the best way to have conversations with artists, like in a more relaxing environment, not, you know, at the studio. And that's you know, I'd say more relaxed, like conversations, like your ideas come out more. It's not like, oh, you know, you're at work and talking about work, you know. So last night I went to an art show, finally caught up with some of my friends, and man, these guys have been working, like, you know, they've been in pandemic, like stuck in their studio, so they're producing a lot of good work. And finally, I'm happy that art shows are happening again. Slowly, you know, people are still being safe, but I had a really good time last night, just catching up with, you know, seeing new works and talking to, you know, some artists, what they're doing. Yeah, his name is Leandra. He's really like prestigious Houston artist. He's like he's an old artist, like maybe like 60 something, but he's been painting forever in Houston. And my friend gifted this to me because he hangs out with this artist. They just hang out, right? And he had like tons of them in his barn. And he was like, "Hey, what's your sign?" It's like, "I'm an Aries." It's like, "Okay, I might have a gift for you." And he just showed up to my house and he just gave me this painting because it's an Aries painting made in 2001. So he paints his dreams. So this is what he sees in his dreams. And he's a very prolific artist. Actually, like a gallery bought all his work recently to like throw a show for him. So I'm happy to have, you know, a piece of him in my home. So it's very personalized for me because of course it's Aries and it was just my birthday and it's still Aries season. Everybody was just like publishing that show because it was just like something out of the ordinary. So I was in every magazine in Houston for like that whole week, and the New York Times. I was like, what is going on here? Something's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I'll take it. So yeah, my first solo show, man, it was. That's why I haven't done a second one. I was like, I can't beat this. Like, this is it. This is the top. Like, I can't do another one. But yeah, I turned my space into an immersive like Smurf experience. Like all the paintings were Smurfs, and had this big old mushroom that everybody can go into, take photos, and like I had balloons, like Smurf balloons, like blues and whites everywhere, and had my friends dress up as Smurfs, and I had like shirts. Like it was just like nobody's done like an immersive, thing before, like 10 years ago. And then when I transformed my space into an immersive experience, for my first solo show, like it got a lot of attention. But yeah, so experience sells. This is what I want to do next. Sell experience.
And 2010 is like when the year, like the immersiveness starts to get really hot, right?
Theme shows started to get hot like around that time, but not immersive yet, because nobody had like technology like projection mapping back then. Everything had to be like physically made. So it wasn't really that big yet, but the idea was there. But technically nobody was like pulling it off yet. So I think everything has changed since then, especially with the projection mapping. It's like what helped a lot with immersive experiences. Unless you're Kusama, building these crazy rooms, but that's about it. She's ahead of its time. It's like a really unique relationship with me and her. She's like my sister, my mother, and she's also my boss, okay? So I work for her, she's my partner, and she's like my mother, and she's like my sister. So we're like super connected. And our ideas are like in the opposite spectrum, okay? Oh, that was our piece. It's called Spectrum. But it's so much more, we didn't get to finish it. Because we were gonna do like every color of the spectrum. Anyways, like our ideas like different sides of polar opposites. But when we have a piece in mind, then we just like meet in the middle and just bring everything together. Yeah, but we have a really unique connection. It's not just a working connection. It's like she's my partner. She's like for life, She's family. Yeah, so now she's texting me about the rodeo because some of our kids won like best of shows and like auctions, so we're really happy about that. And she's asked me if I'm going today. I said, no, I can't. I have an interview right now. So process-wise, we'll sketch something, on paper, and then once we have something that we like, then we'll transform it digitally through Photoshop. So that way we can change our colors, whatever we want, placements. Like this is one right here that we did for downtown Houston. So this is a mural right now. Oh, we're gonna get to see 3 murals this week. I have one. This is the one in downtown.
Oh, that's the one that's still on? Or?
Yeah, I forgot about this one. I didn't tell you about this one. Okay, so this is a digital sketch that we did for downtown Houston. So they put this in a big window in downtown building. So this is all Photoshop. That's Brandy. She's our coworker. She's a teacher too, but she's also like a model and social media person. So we change the colors that we like, and then once we're done, then we start hand painting them. So ideas come from sketch and then digital. That's like the new way of like our processes. Because if you have jobs, the clients have to see what it's gonna look first before it actually happens. So we have to submit like digital sketches, and then I usually go first because, like I said, if you don't know about materials, she does oil paints, right? And I do acrylics and spray paint. You can't paint over oil with acrylic or spray paint, or else it's not gonna stick. So everything that we do, I go first because she can paint on top of acrylics. So she can paint on top of mine, but I can't paint on top of hers. Does that make sense? Or else like it won't stick. The paint won't stick, basically. So I usually go first, and then I'll get the painting back, and I'll just like do touch-ups and then send it to clients. So this is the actual painting that we're working on, a big piece. So it's at her studio right now. So she's painting the girl. I already painted all this, like the flowers and the stripes. And so I'm just waiting for it to get her back, and then do touch-ups and then send it back to the client.
Do you usually receive commissions, or you usually create for yourself?
This year is crazy. Like everything that we've been working on are commissions. I guess I that's a good thing for artists, you know. It's like, wow, you want my work. And actually, like, we've been like overwhelmed with commissions this year for some reason. Everything just came all at once. Like that one right there for the World Cup, we had to finish in like 10 days. We just finished a painting for U of H Sugarland. It's gonna be a permanent collection in their library. It's about diversity actually. And then they're gonna turn it into like a big mural on their windows too. So there's 6 artists that they commissioned. So me and Marjon is one of them. And then right now we're working on a sketch for University of Columbia. They want a painting from us as well. And then just private collectors too. This one, like I said, is at Marjon Studio right now. A private collector, you know, reached out to us and wanted a painting because they saw this mural in downtown. They were like, "I want that painting." I was like, "Well, okay. We still have the digital print if you want this printed on a canvas." Or if you want an original painting, you know, that's an option too, and then he opted for the original painting. And then when we have time and we just want to create, then we'll create our own like pieces. And that's my favorite because you can just like do whatever you want, you know. It's not really a job, and it's more fun for us, and we can be creative, and nobody's telling us like, oh, we don't like this part, and we want this change. But you know, we're happy that we're getting, you know, commission work from collectors and stuff like that. But these that you see right here, it's just like work that we do for fun because we want paint. And sometimes we get into groups that we just like want to create art. You know, like I'm in that group right now. Like, but during the pandemic, I wasn't painting for like 6 weeks. 6 months. The stuff I was making is remember what I sent you during the pandemic. But other than that, I wasn't really making anything. So now I'm happy that I'm making art again, and I'm happy creating, and I have the inspiration to do it because I don't force myself to make art. If I'm not inspired, I'm not gonna make art. I'll just have my creative. I'll just like focus on something else, like something else creative. So usually for me that's cooking. So like finding out different recipes and trying out things. So if I'm not making art, I'll, you know, my creative ideas will go somewhere else. Just like, you know, channeling different energies till I go back to the painting energy. So I see my art life as a wave like this. So sometimes I'm in the bottom like this, and then I won't paint, and then once I start going up, that's when inspiration comes. And then that's when I take advantage. I'll create a lot of art, and then I'll start getting tired, and then it starts going down again. And then when I hit this bottom, then I don't make art. So I see my life as a wave, and I ride the wave because you have to. That's the only way. And I see that about myself, which is good. Like I know how my self works. Even physically, if I'm making art and my lines are crooked, you know, because that means my hands are shaky, it's telling me that my body needs food or sugar. So my blood sugar is low. So when I start messing up on my painting or getting tired, it's like, oh, I need to eat. I need to put blood sugar in me, and it fixes it. So I know how my body works physically and mentally. That's the process. Yeah.
I remember you made a piece of art inspired by COVID.
Yeah, so I was making a lot of. Oh, I can show you one or two. I'll get it. It's in the closet. So. Can you see? The virus. So we wanted to make this during the lockdown because we wanted to turn them into coloring pages for people that were stuck at home. So that's why it's just black and white. These are all pen on paper. So these are our COVID-inspired things that we worked on to help people, you know, being stuck at home, you know, like people going crazy, you know, like during lockdown, like they need to like release some energy, and we thought these are some good ideas to like to help people and do some coloring, you know, at home. And this is COVID inspired. And here's another one. So these are the cherry blossoms. But can you see the inside of the cherry blossom?
Oh, they're the viruses.
Yeah, they're viruses.
Yeah, it's interesting that when the virus happens, it was when like all the nature resumed to like breathe again.
Yeah, I totally noticed that, especially walking my dog during lockdown. Everything was fresh, more green, and you can actually like hear more animals like the birds. Um, and definitely, it was brighter to me. Everything was more vibrant. I definitely started. I felt and noticed the difference when everybody was at home. It made the earth breathe for sure, and everything was. I kind of miss it actually. Now like traffic's back, all the noise is back. Oh, and also I noticed the noise too. The noise level was really low, and now I think everything was back to normal. Yeah, definitely noticed like nature. I like nature. I just came from a vacation and I was in the forest, and I just wanted to like breathe fresh air, get some sun, and just re-energize, and eat more veggies.
Are you vegetarian?
No, I'm not a vegetarian, but I try to put more, more greens in my diet. I don't eat red meat. I don't know why it makes me sick. Also, cheese makes me sick. So I usually eat a lot, like fish and chicken, mostly chicken. But my body craves greens too. So I try to eat healthy. You gotta take care of your body to produce. This is our vehicle to create. I don't smoke. I drink occasionally, just like on weekends, but most of the time I'm sober. Because a lot of people ask me too, it's like they think artists are just like doing drugs and like creating work, That's a persona, right? That's the artist way. But no, not me. I 100% of the time I make my art sober because you have to be focused, especially with my technique. Everything has to be like solid. The line's perfect. One time I think I was like drinking beer. This was the piece, okay? I have a story for that. I was drinking beer and I was making these lines right here, right? The gradients. So I mixed all these colors, every single one. And then the next morning I woke up, right? And all my lines were crooked, like going this way. I was like, oh my god, that's why I don't paint when I'm drunk. Because I'll mess it up. So I had to like erase this whole thing and start over. Because all these lines over here were just like, they're like centimeter off and I can tell. I was like, man. So I measured wrong, basically. So I had to measure every single line on here to make it all straight. Yeah, so I paint sober. I create art sober, so I try to channel whatever's in my head, like naturally.
So you did have a finance career.
I did. Well, I do. Let me get some more. You good? So when I was in college, I went to U of H, okay, to the business school. And I never thought about art as a career ever, never. And that's when I started painting. When I was in college, I was sitting in Barnes and Nobles, just studying, And then I took a break and went to the art section and I saw a Van Gogh book, and that kind of inspired me to paint. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like I want to try this, what he was doing. And that image was stuck in my head already, that painting. So yeah, so that weekend I went to the art store and picked up art supplies. I didn't even know what to get. I got shitty paint, stupid paint brushes. Now I know, And I just painted it. That's oil actually. I didn't even know how to work with oil, and I didn't know what oil was. That's what Van Gogh was using. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna use oil. And then when I discovered acrylic, that's when I switched. It's like, oh, this is so much better from what I'm doing, So yeah, I graduated with a finance degree at U of H. And right after college, I was on a trading desk. Risk management, people trading, day trading. And a year into my finance career is when I opened a gallery. because like again, like I still wanted to paint, like I never stopped. So there was like something in me that I needed to, get out. And that's when I opened the gallery, because at first I thought it was gonna be just a studio, but it was like way bigger than I expected. And I didn't know anybody in the Houston art scene, so I just went on Facebook to look at art shows, and I went to art shows, to meet the artists, and then found the people that I liked and wanted to work with. And then that's how I started inviting people to the gallery. It's like, hey, I really like your work. I'm throwing a show, would you like to put some of your stuff in there? And so I did that for like, a couple of months, just like, gathering artists that I like or the work that I really like. And I set an opening for the gallery, and I was like, I don't know who's gonna show up. Like, I don't know anybody in this town, because like, it was like Montrose, like downtown. Like I never lived here before. And man, it started raining during the opening, right? I was like, oh, nobody's gonna show up. And then the rain stopped, and then after that, like 600 people showed up to the opening. It was crazy, like packed. Like nobody could find parking. Everybody was just like there, like people I don't know, like looking at the art. I was like, whoa, this is something that the Houston scene has been missing. And from then on, it's just like snowballed. Every weekend, people would come and say, hey, I want to show here, I want to rent your space. Like, so my calendar was full for like 3 years straight. Like, and that's how I got to meet like, a lot of people, people in the community. So it was a really good like opportunity for me, like opening a gallery. And even though like money-wise, it wasn't making money, I was sinking money into it. But that for me, that was my investment into my career, because it also helped me personally as an artist, because people saw my work, like nobody would ever saw my work. It was in my apartment, so it helped me like professionally and personally opening Warehouse. And I transitioned, actually got fired from my finance job, because I got tired of it, and I was just like, job searching, doing at work, and they caught me. And they let me go, and then from then on, I just focused all my energy into my art career. And it's been 10 years since, and I never looked back. So it's a happy accident, I guess. It wasn't a happy accident then, but it is now. And that helps me too, like, business-wise, like, with my finance degree. Because most artists can only do one, either like paint or they can manage their own like business. So it's really helped me out both ways.
So Warehouse was founded in 2007, right?
2010.
2010.
And I ran it. 2013 is when I closed the actual building. But it's been active like every year. Because I'll just find a warehouse or a gallery to do like pop-up shows. It's easier for me that way. And I don't have to worry about like overheads and stuff. And then I grew Star Wars art show to this massive thing, like a festival, to the point that Disney was trying to sue me. Yeah, so I got an email like 1 year, and they're like, hey, are you the owner of Warehouse? Like, yeah, I'm from a lawyer from Disney. And I got scared. I was like, yeah, what do you want? Basically, it's like, we saw you doing Star Wars show, that's our entity. You're not allowed to do that, And they were like, basically, like, shut it down or we'll sue you. So we had to be smart. Like, the show was like in a month, right? And then we had like 50 vendors, like 100 artists, like I'm managing like 200 people. There's no way we can't shut the show down because people will lose so much money, like people invested into this thing. So we got smart and took everything Star Wars related name out of the flyers, out of the promotions. So we changed it into, it's called May the 4th. So we switched everything, like all the graphics, like all the wording, everything, nothing Star Wars, right? And then a couple of days later we get the email again. Hey, so we've noticed that you didn't shut the show down, but you changed everything, right? It's like, so they didn't have any like anything like they could sue me. So they gave me a suggestion. They're like, okay, just put on your like wording that you're not affiliated with us or Lucasfilm, whatever. And after that, they never reached out again. So now like it's called May the 4th art show, not Star Wars Art Festival anymore because Disney got mad. Yeah, so I'd manage like 100 artists, So you'll see like three to 500 pieces of work, about 50 vendors. So it's an actual big festival, 5,000 people like on a weekend, and all my shows are kids are free because I want all my students to go there and check it out. So a kid-friendly festival. So that's like one of the biggest shows Warhouse has been hosting, but since the pandemic, it's been. So I've been just focusing on my own work, staying busy.
So I'm also trying to see how your brain works, like with the risk management, very arithmetic, and then at the same time you have this creative flowing.
Yeah, so I'm left and right brain. Well, I mean that's how I diagnose myself. Because I was acing all my math classes in college, and because I'm really into math. Most of my artwork has a lot of measurements into it, and then the creative side as well, it's like total opposite. So I'm really good in both sides. I don't know how. So I combine both of them together, to create my work.
And the level of position that you're going for in your work is also, I don't know, that connects to the arithmetic side of your brain.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, measurement is really important. Remember when I was drunk, I messed up all the measurements on this. It's all crooked. So, and I like to figure out patterns and break them down and recreate them. So the problem solving for me is like really important in putting in my work, because it makes your work faster and easier when you problem solve. And as an artist, you need to create fast in order to like keep up with demand. As a lot of famous artists, they'll hire a team just to keep up with demand. So I try to figure out ways to work faster. That's why I do a lot of stencils now and spray paint. Before I would paint everything by hand, and sometimes each color would take like 3 layers. It takes so long. Even like very precise like work takes so long. Now if I do it with stencil, I can multiply it, and with spray paint it's just like 1 coat, of instead of like 3 coats. So it saves a lot of time. So yeah, being precise. I use a lot of rulers, stuff like this, because everything has to be perfect with me. Straight lines and perfect circles, or else it's gonna bother me. I'll just sit there and just like fix it. Is that a perfect circle? I'm gonna fix it. It has to be perfect. I don't know. I'm like OCD like that. Oh, that's not a straight line. Well, I'm gonna have to fix that. It's not a straight line. So I can actually paint straight lines, like without any guides, and circles without any guides, because I've practiced it so much. But like I said, you need to be faster, so I use stencils now to cut out a lot of time. Tape and stencils and rulers. Those are my tools.
And what do you think of the Houston art scene? Like, has it been, like, what kind of art do you notice that they've been demanding, and has the Houston art scene been like supportive for young artists?
Well, Houston is very supportive about local arts, especially like corporate jobs and commissions. They want to use people, of course, in the local art scene. And man, I've been seeing a lot of good work lately. I think like the pandemic has helped really with people creating new works, new ideas. Like last night I went to the art show, and people have been like just creating in their studios without showing. And a lot of these artists have been really improving. I was very surprised, like wow, we have some really good artists like coming out right now, like after the pandemic. So I'm really surprised actually. A lot of sculptures, people are making sculptures, abstract work. Like new ideas, like they're trying out new things. So that's why I'm really impressed about the Houston art scene. It's very supportive with each other. There's not really, I guess, like contests, with each other. It's just like contests with themselves, always improving what they're working on and trying out new ideas. So I was kind of excited to see like new works last night.
How about like teaching, like that part of your life, as children's kind of teaching and seeing them grow kind of add to your work in some way?
Yeah, so before I don't want to say this, but I didn't like children because they were annoying. And then Marjon calls me, right? Because this is after I closed the gallery, and I didn't have any more income coming because I didn't have my finance job and my gallery anymore. And then Marjon calls me. He's like, "Hey, I know you know a lot of artists. My school is growing. I need help. Do you know anybody's looking for a job?" I was like, "Well, I'm not working right now. If it's art related, I might be interested." It's like, "Oh, really? Okay. Well, just come to the school and see if you like it." And honestly, at that time, I just needed to pay my bills, so I took the job. And I didn't have no teaching degree. Like I don't have any teaching background, but she taught me how to teach kids. It's been 7 years, and I love teaching. I like sharing my ideas to kids and showing them new things, like things they've never done before. And then when I see them do well, it's very fulfilling, And now we've been killing rodeo, scholastics. We've been getting gold stars and best of shows and auctions. Cause like I said, we don't hinder our teaching, we adjust to the grade level, but hey, if you can grasp this college level stuff, good for you. We're not holding back, and that's the key part about teaching. I think is don't hold back, because you never know. Kids are more capable than you think. Physically they might not be, but mentally, it's there. But just teach them. That's how you learn. Keep practicing the technique parts, but eventually everything will just connect. They already have the mentality. And then once their technique gets better, it's just bam, it's magic. So I like teaching a lot. It's my career now. I'm a teacher. And this is the first year I was really comfortable teaching. Before I felt lost. I didn't know what I was doing. Just trying to follow curriculums. But this year is the actual year that I broke out in my shell, and it's now I'm teaching comfortably what I want, and everything is just coming together. So I feel good about teaching. I like it. I like to share my knowledge. I don't have any secrets. If another artist asks me how I did this, it's oh, this is how I did it. Because some artists keep secrets so that nobody copies their stuff. No, not me. I like to share my knowledge. It's up to you if you can do it, But this is how I did it.
Do you see it?
No. What was that?
Do you see a correlation between art and mental health and therapy?
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, I have a foundation, Morehouse Foundation, for art therapy for kids. It's inactive right now because I have so much projects going on. But I see the difference with the kids that they get a lot of art, because it does help them mentally, because it calms them down, keeps them focused. And it releases energy, into your work. And mentally, that's what I guess you need, focus and releasing whatever's, holding you back or making you feel sad and stuff like that. And transporting that into your work is really helpful for mental health. Some of my best work is when I'm feeling sad, or feeling down. That's I use that as a fuel. It helps me as a person, and it releases that energy into my work. So mentally wise, art is very important.
And as a person who is colorblind, but you don't see that as a disability, you see that as an advantage to
Yeah.
your art. How do you kind of make that connection, and how do you think you can help other people who are slightly disadvantaged?
Yeah. So when I tell people I have color blindness, I don't see it as a disadvantage, because I don't have to think about rules, When I choose my colors, it just whatever I feel like is right, So I go with feelings when I choose my colors. And as a person, you should do what makes you happy, It helps you mentally when you do things that you're happy doing, So when I choose my colors, it's oh, I think this color is gonna makes me happy. but technique-wise, you still have to like make it work because visually it has to look right. So balance is a key for me. I really acknowledge balance in everything that I do. Like life and work, everything has to be balanced. It's the same with art. So when I find balance with my work, it's just shades, lights and darks, and that's how I choose my colors, lights and darks. Find a balance. You can't have too much darkness and too much lightness in one thing. Everything has to, balance out. So visually, it'll be easier for the viewers to see.
Do you have at any point like kind of want to identify as Asian artist, or like at any point that you don't want to be identified?
I'm always gonna be an Asian artist, just because of my physical look too, But like I said, as a whole, I just see myself as just artist, like no background. But physically, yes, I'm definitely an Asian artist. The thing is, like, my culture doesn't inspire me, like, with my work. It's just what I see every day, things I live and see in the internet, things I see daily. Those are what inspires me. But being an Asian artist is definitely important, because people like to categorize things for some reason, and people want to belong in groups, and also like it's as an Asian artist, it's important to show, especially like upcoming artists, like they wanted to like be inspired with the same people that they see, so I try telling my children, my kids, like, hey, you're different. You should focus on things that that you know what you're doing. Not what you're doing, but where you grew up. Like, inspired. Use that as inspiration. Like, everybody's different. So you should not try to stick to something that you don't belong to. Hold on, I got lost for a second there. But I'm saying it's like use your differences, as inspiration, to create work. Like lately, like a lot of my students are doing like BLM work, voting, stop Asian hate. So as an artist, like it's your job to highlight those things that are going on in the world. That's your job is to record history and visually show people what's going on, especially in your own community. So our kids are really doing a good job of highlighting what's going on, in their lives. So we try to focus on that too. What's important in your background and your family, you should definitely, if you feel like it needs more light, then you should definitely use that. Use your tools to highlight those things in your work.
And as we also saw in your KAWS collections, do you kind of have a relationship with KAWS and your artistic creativity?
So KAWS was like my main inspiration when I started painting, because when I saw him, like I saw his work, I was like, whoa, his lines are so clean, like his paint is so perfect. So he's actually like the first person that made me start doing this type of work that I'm doing now, like clean lines, even paint levels. It was just like perfect, So he's a main inspiration for me. And then finally I got to see his collection in Dallas Museum up close, because I've never seen his work up close before, and it was an amazing show. Like the whole museum, he had like so many work on there. And I was like seeing his imperfections on there, like his first work, so I was like, what? He's not perfect. That made me really happy, like to see imperfections of like, the person that, that I admire. But the rest of them was just like, whoa, this is fucking mind-blowing, It's like, how does he do this? Like, so I would watch YouTube videos of his like work. Like, he doesn't have too many of them, but sometimes he'll post them. Like, just like his hands like a robot. He'll do like straight lines with a brush, and he'll just like do this. It's like, man, he's a master. So Ka's like one of my main inspiration for sure. And then after that, you know, social media blew up, and then I got exposed to like different artists. And I was like, just like a lot of artists that I like, wow, like how? I try to figure out how to do it. Some of them are very, I don't know how much work they put out.
You talk about this energy a lot. Can you describe it in a way that
Yes.
you can understand?
I'm trying to focus on like what energy though. Like creative energy. Yes. So physically, the way I hang out with people is like through energy. Like energies, you know, like, you know, they attract each other, and that's how my friends are, like, because of energy, you know, like if I'm not vibing with someone and their energy is off, and I can usually tell. So they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to be around this type of energy. So like physically, I can read energy like that, but with my work, I noticed, like I said, it's a wave. My energy is a wave. I don't know what it is. Like, you know how music is, like wave? And I can tell what wave I'm on, my energy level. And that's how I usually, how I create work and focus on my work. So it depends on what energy level it is, where I'm at. Like right now, I feel my energy level is like this, okay? It was down because of the pandemic, and now it's like this. Like it's in a higher slope. And it's gonna go up, it's gonna keep going up, and then it'll just like crash again. There's no timeline, you know, it's whatever. It'll last for a couple months, sometimes a year or more, and sometimes if I'm like really low, and it'll last for like 6-7 months, and I just won't create because my energy level is like this. But I can see where my energy is, like on this wave. It's weird. So yeah, I use energy a lot, and I trust my gut feelings a lot, you know, like reading things, like people. So I really like trust my energy radar, I guess what you say.
So, can you also talk about assigning values to your work? Because I know a lot of artists are kind of very scared of being labeled a price tag.
Yeah. So there's two ways that that we price art. There's a mathematical way. It's usually per square inch, or if you do murals, we'll have a per square foot pricing. So it depends how big the wall is, you know, or how big the canvas is. You know, that's one way of doing things. Because some collectors are like, oh, how much is your per square inch? You know, depending on the size. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine last night about like pricing too, and also feelings. Like if you put a lot of feelings into it, and you feel like you put so much work into it, like, you know, it doesn't really equal to the, you know, per square inch method, you know. So there's two ways, and then if you're really attached to the work, you know, that's one way that I can affect, you know, pricing. But usually we'll just have like a set price in our head before we do it. You know, the mentality is like, oh, okay, well, it's gonna take us this much time. It's like, oh man, that one's gonna have so much detail. It's like, I don't want to do this for less than blah blah blah, you know. So we'll have like a minimum price for like certain pieces because of how much work it's gonna take and how long it's gonna take. So there's just different ways. So either per square inch, per square foot, or man, it's gonna take a long time. So feelings.
So different algorithms.
Yeah, exactly. And then lately we've been like underselling our work. I think that's why we're getting so much commission, because we've been like underpricing. And so me and Marjon's like, man, we need to raise our prices because like we're doing a lot of work and like we're just like charging this much, you know. So I think our price is gonna go up because there's so much work and like everything has to be perfect. Like takes so much time, you know. Like average piece for us like 2 to 3 weeks just to finish a piece, you know. It's a lot of time, you know, on top of like, you know, your busy lives, you know. So time affects pricing as well. Like yeah, that's like majority of things. Time, feeling, and per square inch. Those three are like what determines how much a piece costs. Also, like another thing too, like if a client only has a certain amount of money, and then if you're willing to work with that, it's like yeah, we can work with that. But we'll just adjust like how much like details or how much work we'll put into their budget. So that's like another way too. Different ways.
And murals are usually by
per square foot, yeah. Per square foot, and then you can determine like how much like the material costs in that too, because like the paint is super expensive, and sometimes you need to like rent a lift. Those machines that like take you up. So those have to be like accounted for murals. Murals are a different beast, and also if like the wall is like hard to get to, it's like the location is crazy, or if it's like textured, like you can't do like clean lines on them. Those things affect pricing as well.
Like you have to prime the wall.
Yeah, prime the wall, clean it, and then like paint over it, just like to start over. It's a lot of stuff.
Like you also wear so many hats, like gallery owner, collector, and artist, and
yeah.
So
I have a lot of jobs. Now I'm writing for Visit Houston, so I'm the cultural side of things. So my next article is the art car parade, and then I'm interviewing some LGBT artists. Next one, and then my last article is Asian cultural sites. So now I'm writing for Visit Houston, and I teach, and then I throw events, and then I do commissions. I'm trying to get like 5 income streams. I think I read somewhere like, if you want to become a millionaire, you need like 5 income streams. Like, okay, I need 5 income streams because I want to live somewhere nice. Because I like working. I can't just sit still, or else I'll just be wasting my time on my phone, And I want to produce work, and I want to stay relevant, and I want to get better, and I want to get faster. So, and I want to try, different careers, I guess, till I'm happy with one thing. I want to cook. I like cooking.
What do you like to cook?
Well, of course, I've been experimenting with a lot of Asian sauces, but I like pasta a lot because like you can do a lot with pasta, different sauces. So sauce is like the thing I've been like trying to cook more, like create more. I went to Costa Rica and they had this like garlic pesto sauce. Man, it was so good. You could put it on anything. And then when I got home, I tried to Google it. Like it was not even on the internet. I was like, "What's the recipe for this? Like I want this." It was so good. Yeah, so like breaking down ingredients, it's kind of fun. Like tasting some things, like oh yeah, what's in here, and just like figure out the sauce that everybody's using. And like the Asian cuisine has so much sauce, like simple but yet effective, So I've been cooking a lot with that.
Does the flavor of food inspire you with creativity too?
No, I think that's like separate entities for me. But like I said, like if I'm not putting creative in one side, then I'll transfer my creativity to the other. So it doesn't really inspire me like with paintings. Just a lifestyle.
So what is art to you in summary?
What is art to me? Art to me is life. Because I live it. I'm surrounded by it 24/7. It's part of my persona, my energy. If there's no art for me, then I'd be a sad person, It helps me mentally, physically too, trying to get better. So I live and breathe art. Even like in fashion too. Fashion's art. So I'm into like clothes sometimes when it's like not too hot because you can't really wear nice clothes when it's hot. So yeah, everything has to be like artistic. Even like with cooking too, like presentations, and plating. Like everything has to be creative for me. like in details, and I'm really like highly like into details. Um, like everything that's good in life is like, you know, super detailed to me. Like focus on like the minor things.
Um, are you open to sharing like how like sexuality like inform you about your art?
Say that again.
Sexuality, how does it inform you about your art or your sexual gender identity?
That's a good question. I never really thought about it. Like how I connect my sexuality with art.
Yeah.
Well, I like to be surrounded with beautiful things. So I navigate towards like I'm attracted to people that have like unique personalities and unique looks, you know. So those are kind of people I like to be around with and date. People with like quirky things, you know, like the imperfections are beauty to me, you know. Like it's not like a cookie cutter look that I'm looking for, like that I'm attracted to. It's like the personality and like not normal, you know, things on a person's like, you know, image. So those are the kind of things I'm attracted to. Things that are out of the norm.
Yeah, since I remember you mentioned that you were writing for the LGBTQ column. I was just wondering like what your sexual orientation is.
Oh, I'm straight. Yeah, I like women. But yeah, like they had me like my next article, they had me interviewing LGBT artists, because we try to highlight different cultural things and, you know, with the website. So I'm gonna interview some of my friends. I have a lot of gay friends, and they're really really talented people too. So yeah, I want to use my my platform to help my friends as well. That's a really big thing for me. Connecting people, especially like if I can help them, you know, elevate their work, personality, like, you know, work, stuff like that. And that's like one thing that makes me happy is like helping people. And if I had the platform to do it, of course, why not?
So what are you planning for in your next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually want to start a business again. Either a hospitality business, something creative, something unique. Might not be here, maybe another place. Airbnb type, maybe. But, you know, something artistic, unique. Also with food. So yeah, I wanna get into hospitality business, but use my creativity, you know, to do that. Interior design too. I'm into. So yeah, that was weird, right? I want to start a hospitality business. That's like my goal, I think, right now.
I'm sure like art is so experiential that it can connect in a very nice way to help people experience hospitality.
Yeah, so I want to sell experiences is what I want to do next. Curate like a nice dinner. So I've been like having dinner parties here, because like before the pandemic nobody could really go out. Just like sell like a really good time. So hospitality and experience, like what I want to get into next.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you can be super creative, you know, like super detailed with that, and I like seeing people like happy when they like experience new stuff, you know, and nice stuff too, because like makes you feel good. this is a piece called It Feels Like Summer, which is perfect because it does feel like summer. And we designed this to be painted on, you know, those boxes, electrical boxes. So we did that design for that, but they decided to do this as a mural instead. So here goes, that's Brandy. She's a coworker. So we decided to paint her because she feels like summer. And now we were painting this in an actual like painting for a client of ours. And it's a nice day today, huh? So we did this for downtown Houston. This is the project, the Window Works with Up Art. And they took artists' work and then put them in these empty spaces, you know, to beautify the space. And I think it's working. So all around this block, there are different artists with different works on their windows. On Main Street. And as you can tell, all right, I hid it in the artwork. Look, these are my these are the COVID, the COVID virus. So they all have COVID viruses. Because it was made during COVID. But it goes well, right? It looks like the flowers. It feels like summer. And we're really into like plants and flowers, so you'll see a lot of that in our work. Plants, flowers, the galaxy and I. Those are the kind of things like inspire us. A lot of the universe too. We incorporate in our work because time stays still, you know. And we want it to be immersive experience, you know. We want to sell experience. So now we're actually painting Brandy's son. Well, we just finished it for U of H Sugarland about diversity. So we painted her, and now we painted her son. So both of them are gonna be in this giant mural. They're putting this same thing, this giant mural in Sugarland, like the way they did this, of her son, Graham. So both of them are gonna be in a mural. Isn't that crazy? It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, feels like summer. You'll see like our next mural, you'll see kind of like the same style. You'll see like stripes, like the different stripes and circles. And you'll see what I'm talking about with the time and space with the universe. So that's the next mural we're gonna go see. And this is my first time seeing this up close. It's been here for a year. I'm lagging.
Can you talk about why Houston needs murals?
Why Houston needs murals? So when I travel, what I like about different cities is the public arts. You know, it's a very good attraction, and it invites people to like, you know, come over and see the city. You know, I think it's a seed to anything. So when you start seeing murals everywhere, it's like a seed. It's growing, and that means that community is growing too. You know, so that's what I like about public works because it's free. A lot of people can access it, and it beautifies the city, and also it brings in attraction. So that's what I love about murals. And it's like the sheer of them too. It's like so much talent and work has, you know, been put into these things. Like sometimes I don't even know how they do it. I was like, wow, this is a very, very good work. So I appreciate public art. Well, this thing is all digital. So we're working on it through Photoshop. So about a week because they wanted some things changed. It has to be size specific. Make sure it goes on like perfectly, you know, on this. So it's mostly like a digital work. But we're actually painting this. So that painting is taking like a month already. Like hand painted. Same image.
Yeah.
For a client. Yeah, so digitally about a week and then actual painting about a month. These are 3 letters of our last name. So Dandee and then Marjon. pub is still there. So we can go there next. Yeah, so like the best part for me, like creating public works, is like engaging with the people, with the audience. You know, they'll come by and talk to me, and ask me, you know, what I'm doing, like the progress, like inspiration, and just them simply just watching, you know. So that's what they hired us for, like to engage with the people that go there to the building, and I met a lot of people. Okay, let's see, it's right here. Hopefully it's still there. We're looking in the windows. Please, 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 please. Oh, it's gone. So this is the Pennzoil building. What's really unique about this place is because it's the shape of a pyramid. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, so our inspiration was to paint pyramids inside the pyramid. And it's actually one of my favorite works because we don't really do sculptures, like, you know, like you said.
Wow.
So that was in the lobby.
Cool.
And what's cool about it is there are chairs with wheels, so we want people to use the art, you know, as a immersive experience. So people could sit on it and like move around and like have conversation with their friends, but people were so scared to touch it because they thought it was just like art piece, like nobody would sit on them, you know. So yeah, but nobody used it. And then we did this, like a puzzle. That was in there. You can switch around the different colors. We did one side black and white, and the rest, you know, the other side in color, so people can switch around. So our whole thing was like engaging with the audience, you know. So we wanted people to play with our art, but they were scared to touch it because they thought it was the art piece. You know, that's what's sucky about it.
Can you talk about, like you said, people will come up to you and talk about the process? What?
Yeah. So these people like engineers, right? You know, and like architects. So they're really interested in like our design process and like how we made everything. So yeah, I love talking to them, especially people not in the art scene, like just, you know, people that are not artists. They're just like in awe of like what we're doing. So conversation wise, it's fun because you get to meet new people and then share your ideas, and then, you know, we ask them what they think, what they love about it, you know, how they make them feel. And I think that's a big part of you know, looking at art, just to see like, you know, people's thoughts and how it makes them feel. Okay, I'm gonna start going to the other mural. Cool. This whole year project, right, with a magazine and Neiman Marcus. So we shot the models in like expensive clothes, like Gucci and stuff like that. So we posed them, right, and then after we got the photos that we liked, then we painted them, right. And that took about 8 months to paint because it was like big paintings, you know, like a collection of them, like I think 8 of them. And then once the paintings were done, we invited the models again to take photos with the painting, with the clothes that we painted them on, and pose them like super artistic, you know, in poses. And then once those photos were done, it ended up in a cover of the magazine with like a whole like spread of the actual project. So the whole thing was like 8 months, 9 months in the making just for this project. And those were some of our best work because we were so inspired to paint and like be creative, and especially integrating fashion too, with the modern look of with our style with the paintings. It went so well together.
How did that idea come to you?
So this is the first time me and Marjon were like collaborating like full time. And her sister, she's a Marcy, she's a stylist, right? So she was just like, hey, we should work on a project together and paint these girls in these cool clothes, you know. And that's basically how it happened. And then the magazine was interested in it. And after that, Neiman Marcus threw us an art show at the Neiman Marcus. It was like super bougie. I was like, oh man, I like this shit. I'm into this. So that was like one of the biggest projects that we did together. All right, we're almost there.
Yep.
And the girl, the image of this mural that we're about to go, is one of the models that we shot for that project. She was such a perfect model. Like, she knew how to pose, you know, how her show her looks and everything. Was like, we want to paint you. So we did multiple paintings of her, and now she has a mural of herself. So once we find like a subject that's really good, we take advantage of it and use them for multiple projects, you know.
Can you talk a little bit about how social media came to be very helpful with your art?
Yes, social media has introduced me to different styles and different artists. So I get my inspiration from that, and also it's helped my career as selling paintings too. Because like most of my clients, I say majority of my clients are from social media. They'll just send me messages and like, you know, want a piece from me or send me projects, and we're here. She's still there.
Oh, yay!
Yay!
That's you.
I know, that's me. That's well, me and Marjon. Alright, we can go back. Local beer. I'll show you where the building is. Super nice. I've thrown shows there too. So they let me use the space to throw art shows. Because they have a big food hall, like it's right there, St. Arnold's Brewing Company. Oh, it's such a good building. You'll see these giant, like, I don't even know how to say it, these giant, like, tins where they make the beer. You can do a tour there. And there's a restaurant. They have one of the best patios in town. You see, like, downtown. So it's like a restaurant, a brewery, event space, and this is their this building's their storage for the beer. So they hired all these artists to you know, make it look nice. This is for the mural festival that we're part of. That's Anna Maria. So all these people that you see are friends of mine.
Cool. Did you find them for the brewery or?
Yeah, so I helped curate the show. So I found some of the artists to paint in the festival. And of course, I'll just ask my friends. Anna Maria, this is, well, I know him as Brian, but his name is Shreddy. And then that's Black. Black did that, and then the other one is me, Marjon's. You know what's crazy? This is our first mural together. Yeah. And this is the model I told you about that we shot for Neiman Marcus. So we used her for multiple projects because she was like such a good, like, you know, muse. She looked perfect in like photos and paintings, so we used her a lot. Her name is Tori. But now she's this big model in New York, like, she's like blown up. And see the sticker? It's still there. That's my warehouse sticker. So I'm happy this thing is still here. You know, because most murals don't last long. Hello, old friend. We're doing a mural tour for Rice University with Ann. Maybe. And yeah, so we're really inspired with, you know, the universe, time, and patterns, and surrealism. And Marjon's like really interested in like feminine subjects. I can't even say that. And that's why she paints a lot of women. And yeah, it's the first time painting a portrait on the wall, so it's really like, you know, challenging for her. But I think she did a good job.
So did you work at the same time or separately?
We'd come here on the weekends. I chose this space because it was so hot that we had shade here all the time, so that's why I chose this area. We'd come here on the weekends and after work, and we didn't have a lift, so the ladder, that's the highest I could go with the ladder. So that's why I couldn't get high like him, because he had the machine that goes up and down, but we just had the ladder. And also I'm scared of heights, so I didn't want to go too high. So that's the highest I could paint with the ladder. It's pretty high, man. And yeah, this is a learning curve for me because we don't really do a lot of murals. So this whole building is covered with artists. Yeah, this is St. Arnold's.
Who would know, like, this place has held so much art?
Yeah, like it goes around too. It was so fun because everybody's just like painting at the same time. The energy was good, you know. Everybody's having fun, and then people would just come and just say hi to us. So look, all over. This whole building is covered. That's Jessica Rice. And then they brought in artists from different places. I think he's from South America. He was just like dripping paint from the top. It was like so messy.
Wow.
Because it was just like throwing buckets of paint on there. So this is the U Mural Festival, which we've been part of. So hopefully they come back to town again. 'Cause I kind of miss me painting murals.
How does it differ from painting?
It's so much different. Just because of the size and like everything's just like large, you know. It's very challenging, but I like challenges and I like problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like doing murals. Royal.
Yes. Where are these artists come from, Dean? Haven't.
All these are local except for her. She's from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring in different artists, you know, from different places. And he was from like South America,
Mm-hmm.
but the rest of them are Houston artists.
Yeah. What ethnicity are they?
Lee, she's black. Royal is Filipino. I think she's white and South American, and I think she's white too.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Rice, she's awesome. I love her style and like her creativity too. This all just like comes from her head.
It has a little bit like do you remember Spirited Away, the movie?
Oh yeah.
There's like that gigantic monster with multiple feet and hands.
Yeah, I love her work. Yeah, I
Wow.
kind of miss doing mural festivals. He's an actor. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now, but he's a famous actor.
Uh-huh.
Trendy, like he did a small face on the second one, you see? We're about to get COVID test. This is so funny. This is the new normal.
There is an arrow indicating where we could open it from. The right nostril for 10 to 15 circular motion. This is about an inch in your nasal cavity.
Okay. Ugh. I hate this.